Today, 7th Circle Gaming analyzes the mech combat game Phantom Brigade, and after a bit of full disclosure, of course, we'll take a look at a couple of screenshots. Now, you're welcome to pause the video and read through all of this here, or you can watch the video a second time. For everyone else, let's jump into the screenshots. Now, in our first screenshot today, we're going to look at the overworld map of Phantom Brigade, and it's rendered in a very hyper-realistic art style. It's trying to look like something out of a military thriller movie or military video game, something like that. The user interface is also very complex, although it attempts to restrict itself to just the top and bottom of the screen, and it tries to group items by functional area. For example, at the bottom left we have health indicators for our mechs, as well as our mobile base. At the bottom right-hand corner of the screen we have a context-sensitive pop-up menu, and at the top center we have the ticket counter, which indicates the level of control of a particular region. At our top left we have buttons for different areas of the mobile base, etc. And at the top right we have the system menu. Now then, let's take a look at our second screenshot and the battle interface. The battle interface is where Phantom Brigade really tries to do something unique and different. It certainly seems to be a powerful combination of real-time strategy and turn-based, giving the player a lot of control over their mechs, or over their units, but it does require a significant amount of adjustment. The world at this level is rendered in a very semi-realistic art style, neither trying to be overly cartoonish nor overly realistic either. Now then, let's move on because we do want to discuss the customization available. Players have the option of customizing their mechs in a variety of different ways, all of which have statistics attached. Of course, except for the color. Players can adjust the parts on their mech or the weapons carried by their mechs, either by building those parts in their workshop or by salvaging them from defeated mechs. Now, of course, that's not the only options available. There's also, in our next screenshot, the tech tree. And this is actually only a small sample of what the tech tree has. It's actually very large. However, the important part that we really want to draw your attention to is the menu at the right-hand side of the screen, simply labeled Stats. And this is not all of these statistics available on offer, but it does illustrate the point that the game has a lot of statistics for players to examine and attempt to optimize. And with all of our screenshots now covered, let's move on to our first proper chapter, which is, as always, immersion. Here the game has earned a 4.5 out of 15. It certainly tries to create immersion in a lot of different ways, but primarily it looks like statistics focus, challenge, and story to a lesser degree are where the game creates immersion. Now then, how does the game handle difficulty? Here the game has earned a 5.5 out of 15, mostly because the game provides a complete suite of difficulty options. Unfortunately, it doesn't really describe all that well how those options will affect gameplay. The user interface is very complex, as you've seen in our screenshots. Even in our play sessions, after 3 or 4 of them, we missed a lot of functions that were available to us. The control setup, as we mentioned in our screenshot of the battle interface, looks very powerful, and it seems to give the player a lot of control, but it also requires a lot of adjustment and learning by doing. So then, let's move on to lasting appeal and find out if the player is going to be interested in playing through the game to understand how to use that combat interface. And here the game has earned a 3 out of 15, which rather looks like a no. The game only has one game mode, not even skirmish mode or multiplayer for that matter, leaving players only with the option of retrying the game on a different combination of difficulty settings. There's also no DLC at present, or mod support through any respected source that doesn't require editing game files or potentially downloading a virus. So then, with all that said, where does the game stand overall? Overall, the game has earned a 4.83 out of 15. While the story and how the game handles combat may appeal to some players for their uniqueness, it won't appeal to everyone. Now then, on to some highly subjective statements before we end the video today, so please have your salt handy. The difficulty curve of the game starts out very gentle, but after about the second or third mission, it gets very steep indeed, at any difficulty setting. The control setup, which is to say how the game handles combat, if we haven't hammered the point home quite yet, requires a significant period of adjustment, although it is interesting to explore it. For both of those reasons we just listed, the difficulty curve and learning to use combat in the game, our desire to continue to play fell off very, very quickly. If anyone does purchase the game, and we do suggest purchasing it when it's on sale, start out on a combination of difficulty that would be equivalent to very, very easy, and work up from there. Now then, we thank very much everyone who watched all the way to the end of the video. We look forward to seeing you on our next one, and from 7th Circle Gaming, goodbye.